tired. I'm really, really tired. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys will be able to comment this time. Last time were no comments. We had Facebook, Instagram live with no comments. It was so frustrating. Ah, first comment, Wilfred Asukwo. Welcome back, everyone. We could not comment earlier on, and aside that, I'm really, really, really tired. Hmm. I'm tired and stressed. Now, um, a lot of people uh, have been reaching out to me that if Freeze, are you not going to comment on the Afe Babalola versus Dele Farotimi issue? And if there's something I must say, I don't know how to say it because you see, I'm not a political or politician. I'm not a political activist or a political commentator. So issues like that, especially for people who don't understand the system, will be very difficult to understand. And here are my thoughts. Maybe I'll address it properly tomorrow in a video because I've been thinking about the best way to go ahead with that. I personally do not support or believe in human rights violations. And when I spoke to Kabiyesi Afe Babalola, he said he was not the one who locked Dele Farotimi up, that it was the courts. That in his piece, he libeled both Afe Babalola and the court. When you say Afe Babalola has corrupted the judiciary, you are insinuating that the judiciary is corrupt. And then you're going to stand in front of that same judiciary and expect them not to use their strength. Now, you also need to understand that in Nigeria, the legal system is different from abroad. Abroad, it is, you cannot detain someone over libel or slander. In Nigeria, there's what you call criminal defamation. Do you remember pastor that pastor in Port Harcourt that locked Kemi Olunloyo up for 8 months? None of y'all talked about it. Burner Boy versus Akbi. None of y'all are talking about it. Afe Babalola versus Dele Farotimi. You are all talking about it. Nigerians, I believe we have selective morality and selective justice. And in Nigeria, if you don't want them to lock people up over the things they say about you, I personally believe that you need to adjust the laws that allow for that, because the court, apparently in the court, it was the court that adjourned his case and remanded him. And the courts can do that. Do I agree with that? These are subjective matters that are not up to personal or public opinion. Instead, they are matters based on laid down rules and regulations that a judge can exploit when determining judgment. So if the rule book says if you defame someone, you can get locked up while the case is going on, and we saw it happen with the Port Harcourt pastor and Kemi Olunloyo, We saw it happen with Berna and Akwi, and we're now seeing it play out again. And a lot of people are saying, yeah, at the end of the day, it's going to make the book more famous. You don't understand how it works. Even if the book does get more famous, all the proceeds will go to the party libeled or the party slandered. So it will be a famous book that everybody's going to read, but all the money is going to go to the court determined person aggrieved. Someone said, but Dele Farotimi just wrote one line about Afe Babalola in his book. If Afe Babalola finds it defaming, and he reports to the courts, and the courts also find it defaming because the courts were also mentioned, and the court uses the book of law to adjourn the case and remand, then even I am confused because I don't understand what exactly people want. And if you want things to be done differently, you need to rewrite the book. Even if it is one full stop that you find defaming. How many of you studied law in Nigeria? How many of you understand what criminal defamation is? Tall guy, this tall guy tycoon, I owe him a bear. See, as my face lit up. I owe him a bear. I owe this guy a bear. There was a coin I bought, and I tripled in 2 weeks, but I only bought $400 of it. I wish I'd bought $40,000. This tall guy tycoon, oh man, when it comes to crypto, when it comes to the future, when it comes to science and where science is going, just do me a favor, follow that guy, follow that guy, follow that guy. He will tell you, buy this. 6 months later, he will ask, who listened, and show you what it became. Follow that guy. There was somebody who was asking me about crypto. This is one of the guys I listen to. But of course, let me put my disclaimer. Crypto goes up and down. It's a gamble. It's always a gamble. But a well-informed gamble helps. So check that guy out. Tall guy tycoon. Amazing guy. How are you doing, brother? Someone said we already follow. He was my guest once. Uh-huh. So when it comes to back to the story I was narrating, when it comes to Afe Babalola and Dele Farotimi, I believe not only was Afe Babalola aggrieved, but the courts too were aggrieved, and they sought redress. And is it in the power of the court to lock somebody up for the time he's been locked up? We saw it play out with Kemi Olunloyo and the Port Harcourt pastor, and we're seeing it play out with Berna and Akbi. It's very possible. So, if you have any problem with the way the courts are run, the way the judiciary operates, what you have to do is rewrite the book. Because if it's not in the book that somebody can be remanded over criminal defamation, then nobody can get remanded. But as long as it's in the book, it is what it is. And also, he who alleges must prove. So if you have said these things about Afe Babalola, it is also, the onus is also on you to prove them. But I'll continue watching with keen interest. As you know, I am not a political analyst, and I've not sat down to hear from Dele Farotimi because I'm not close to him. But I do know Kabiyesi Afe Babalola very well. And I did speak to him, and he did share his 2 cents with me. A lot of people are asking me about that, and I just said I'll throw some light on it. Maybe tomorrow, when I'm in a clearer mood, um, I'll also. So, because my mother was pictured, if you see what Afe Babalola has built in this country, Afe Babalola has built a university that is one of the top universities in the world. They're aiming for the top 200 in the world. You understand? Um, Afe Babalola is a philanthropist. Afe Babalola is somebody I can call and he will listen. He has a kind heart. So it hurts when you see his name dragged up and down on the streets of social media. John said, with which money? Afe Babalola has been charging millions of dollars from his clients, which include Mobile and Shell. And Afe Babalola does go and watch my interview with him. I interviewed him. He doesn't hide it. He charged a foreign bank and a local bank merger, charged them $30 million in the 80s. The kind of money where Afe Babalola gets without stealing any government funds. Someone said, Fonda Lord says, oh, guy, you always support the corrupt. Just block. No need. No need to have conversations with you. Now, anybody that has anything to say, like I said, I am not a political analyst and I do not understand Nigerian politics beyond. It's not Bible. You understand? So that's as far as I can comment on that matter. Personally, I don't rapture once. We always support the corrupt. So let's go back to our conversation for today. And our conversation is about abroad or Naija. Abroad or Naija. What are your thoughts? Abroad or Naija? What would you suggest to someone? Where is better? Making the choice. What yardstick would you look at or would you use when you are advising your brother, your mother, your father, your uncle who want to Japa? Would you say just Japa by all means? Because we've had a lot of complaints. We've had people who went and didn't make it. We've had people who went and used their 2 legs to come back. We've had people who went and died. We've had people who went and were successful. We've had all sorts. So I personally, here's my understanding of the matter. And this is what I always say to people. Because it works for Chris Bassi does not mean it will work for me. Does not mean it will work for John, while it will, or it may work for Shupo. Abroad, like Mary Yoon said, if you know road, and if you, let me even bring Mary Yoon. Mary Yoon is a lawyer. It's been a while since I saw her. Mary, don't tell me you're not coming to Nigeria today. Make I use cane find you where they flog you. I know, come Niger. Mary, when did you enter Nigeria?
I'm coming in tomorrow.
I know, say, where are you going to be staying?
I'm even packing. I'm going to be staying with my sister.
Where?
So I'm actually just packing in Lucky One.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
just packing and doing a whole bunch of things.
How long are you around for?
3 months.
3 months. Oh
Yes.
more. That means I go see you, I go tire.
Very real.
Uh-huh.
Very, very real.
Since you are a lawyer, even though this is not the topic, I want to ask you a question legally. What are your thoughts on the Afe Babalola and Dele Farotimi situation as a lawyer? Please go ahead.
As a lawyer, you know me, I'm a product of affairs, so I'm torn in between. But
Mm,
the truth is, prior to me spoke the truth. Is They definitely spoke to the truth to an extent. However, it's still the same speculations we have about how corrupt and how decayed the system is. However, if he knows he has damning, convincing evidence, he can come forward with it. Like you said, he who alleges must prove.
mm,
You can't just say something and say, after all, that's what's trending on social media or that's what we understand. You have to have hardcore evidence that can hold water in real life.
mm,
So if he knows he has that, he can come forward with it. Hopefully, the courts will be neutral enough to listen to him.
mm.
With respect to Baba, you know me, I'm a product of Afe Babalola, so I can't really. I'm actually biased on this one, Daddy Freeze. I'm actually biased on this one, so yeah.
Okay, okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, we both agree on one thing. If he has evidence, he should be able to
Come
bring the
forward.
evidence forward and prove
Mm-hmm.
his case. It shouldn't be too hard to
Yes.
prove.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand what we're talking about, it shouldn't be too hard to prove. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, everybody will be fine. Now, I want
Right.
to ask, is arrest the right thing in a case of defamation? As a lawyer, I want you to answer that question.
Okay. If, for example, what we need to know is that defamation can go two ways. It can be brought by way of civil action. It can be brought by way of petition or complaint to the police, who would investigate and make further arrests upon, their findings. So yes, you can actually arrest somebody. You can actually file a complaint with the police, who can then, after investigation or fact finding, they can go forward and file charges and make arrests. So it is possible. Yes,
Is it legal?
it's within the ambits of the law.
Guys, did you
It
hear?
is.
I'm sure you did not know that.
It is. It can be criminal. It can be civil. It can go
I
both
tried
ways.
to explain it at the
Within the
beginning.
Nigerian legal
We did.
system,
What did I
yes.
say? You didn't hear me when I was talking about it earlier on, Remy. I said Remy.
Mary.
Mary. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. I said that there are things that the Nigerian system permits, and if you have a problem with those things, you have to change the instructions in the rule book
Mm-hmm.
through
It
legislation.
has to be the legislature. Yep.
You
Simple.
cannot change. You see, I said something the other day. I said in Nigeria, in Singapore, in India, and in 30 something other countries, a man cannot RAPE his wife. It does not exist in the Constitution. It's not criminalized. My wife cannot take me to court that I RAPE'd her because there's nothing that can be done because it's not criminalized. Now, in the UK and the US, it is. Let me now put a pertinent question to you. If I live in Nigeria and this happens, am I going to take my wife to a UK court, a US court, a Singapore court, or a Nigerian court?
Nigerian court.
If I
That's the
take her to the
jurisdiction.
Nigerian court, are we going to call America and ask them to borrow us the book so we can use it to
No, they
judge?
have their legal system.
I'll give
We
you
have our
another
legal
example.
system.
I'll give you another example. In France, age of consent is, I think, 15 or 16. In the UK, it is 16. In America, it is 18. In Dubai, there is no age of consent unless you are married. You've got to be married before you can start thinking of. A young British boy was just sentenced to 1 year in prison for having consensual benching with a young lady. The parents reported. He was about to be sentenced to life imprisonment. I don't know how they even walked it down to 1 year. My question now
I
is,
saw it was going to be up to 20 years.
yeah. We saw the question. My question now is, if you bench a 16-year-old in France, are they going to use the American standard or the French standard on you?
The French standard.
The French standard. Thank you very much. So when something happens in Nigeria, it's not about crying about it on social media, because social media cannot change the constitution. What does the law say? Social media can lead to change, but the change has to be legislative.
Yep.
Social media can ginger change. But even if we ginger the change today, it cannot be backdated. It will be going forward. Going forward, you can now no longer arrest for criminal defamation. My mother is a professor of law, and my mother taught her law. Abby.
She was my provost and my teacher as well.
So the little I know about law, I didn't study law, I'm not a lawyer. The little I know about law is the law is based on the jurisdiction of the occurrence. You understand? And I raised a question. I said, if that pastor in Port Harcourt could arrest Kemi Olunloyo for 8 months, if you remember that story, in 2016.
I remember when she went
If
to prison.
Burna Boy could arrest Akpi, why is it Afe now that is doing bad? It's the same thing. Now, Dele might have some great points. I do like him, and I believe he's a brilliant young man. And we also know that I've also experienced the Nigerian court system. In some parts of the country, like in my divorce case, I had a brilliant judge. But in my Port Harcourt judge case, I was served justice behind my back. You understand? So yes, there are issues. But how do we address the issues? Now, let me ask you a question. If I write a book about you and say Mary went to Canada to do Olusho, and I sell 1 million copies, and you take me to court for slander, and you win, what happens to the proceeds of the book?
I think they can be there can be an injunction on it, or some form of declaration on it that it's, and then it can be maybe used as damages or something towards the person whose reputation has been injured, or they can be kept in the by the registrar of the court. It just depends on the discretion of the sitting judge, to be honest. It really depends on the discretion of the sitting judge. They can order that the proceeds be, the sale of the book can be stopped, and the proceeds that was recovered from the sale of the book be paid into the court's count in the possession of the registrar, and also damages can be awarded, of which it could be anything. That phrase, it just depends. It could be anything. Depends on the discretion of the judge, the sitting judge.
Now, when the justice system was also slandered, what do you think the discretion of the judge would be?
What discretion of the judge?
When the justice system was also slandered, what do you think the likelihood of the discretion of the judge will be.
Be- Obviously, it's going to be biased. No matter how much you say the judge is going to be a neutral umpire, if somebody comes and slanders my line of business, because judges are supposed to be reputable, it's a prestigious role. Members of the bench are people who are looked up to with high esteem. So if they are brought to any form of disrepute in the eyes of the ordinary man in the country, the society, it puts them in a position, in a defense position. So they will do anything at that point as humans to defend their honor. So in that situation, they are going to try to not step into the arena, so to speak, but they're going to try to make sure that they put Dele Faro to me to the strictest proof. That's the truth. And make sure that he, quote and unquote, almost paid for what he has said, because they are also being dishonored, despite the fact that it looks like it's about Afe. Afe is the one. The judges might feel slighted by what has happened. Not might, they will. They 100% will. So I don't know who is going to be in charge of this
Somebody
case,
said
but I
the
pray
justice system is a public institution that is subject to public scrutiny and criticism.
scrutiny.
In what country?
Correct. It's
Yes,
correct though,
but
but the
in what country?
practicality.
In what country?
Exactly.
Now, we also at the same time want a better country.
Mhm.
So we also have to be careful what we do away with totally. No, the justice cannot, the justice system, everybody can be interrogated, everybody can be questioned. But like I would always say, I would always say Nigeria's constitution and Nigeria's criminal code need to be revised.
Overhaul.
But under the current circumstances, I don't see what the court did as going against the book. Or Mary, you're the lawyer.
No, they haven't done anything.
They've not done anything that is against the
They
book.
can issue a bench warrant.
They can
decide
arrest
that
you from
know
inside
what
the court for not
Bail
showing
can
up
be
for the court case.
discretionary.
As in,
Yeah,
a
bail is
bench, and
discretionary.
that bench warrant means anywhere you are having tea,
Anyway,
you are
they pick
drinking milk, you are with your girlfriend watching a movie, anywhere they cite you, they carry you. Legally, it is in the book. You need
And
to
it is their
understand the
choice to
book.
give you bail. If
Yes.
they feel you're going to be flight risk, they can decide.
They can decide to deny you bail, seize your passport.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we need to understand that a lot of people are saying, "Oh, is oppression." Although it may sound oppressive, it is not extrajudicial. By my understanding of the law, but I'm not a lawyer, so I hand that over to Mary. You.
It's not extra. It's not extrajudicial.
It's not extrajudicial.
If you look deep, there's paperwork to back that up. So they've picked him up. They can say, oh, there was a complaint filed. Upon the complaint filed, we investigated and we set to file charges. Oh, we can't grant bail. They can block the bail. They can say, oh, we believe he's flight risk. There are chances that he will not be able to show up at the next court hearing. As far as he can convince the sitting judge.
Sorry, somebody said it is oppression in the USA, in the UK. According to the Nigerian books, it is not. So if you have a problem,
people even tend to compare these jurisdictions. The truth is, even in the US, many times they deny bail. Look at Diddy. He was denied bail. They can deny anybody bail. Is that oppression too?
And defamation can also be verbal oppression too. So we also need to be, you see, before I talked about this matter, I thought about it long. I spoke to Are himself. Sadly, I don't know Dele Farotimi, and I don't have direct access to him or his counsel. You understand? He's not somebody that I follow or follows me. Somebody I see, and I do respect the work he's been doing. Personally, I believe the only activism Nigeria needs is the activism that will change the way we think. You cannot fight for the people who think in a certain way. You can never win. The fight has to start in the mind of the people. The other day there was I don't know, you saw it on my page. A Nigerian just whipped out his anaconda and started relieving himself on his tire in the middle of Did you see that post?
I saw the video you posted.
And I go and read the comments. People were literally insulting me. Where do you want him to go? And did you provide public toilet? And I sat down and I thought about it. Can you do that in Canada?
No.
Can you do that in any civilized nation? As long as you have the mentality that it is okay, your country can never be better, because you have not fixed the fundamental issue that needs fixing, which is your mind. So personally, I'm one of the people that believes you can fight for the people all you like until you try to fight until you get them to fight their own mind. You can never win for the people. That's my battle. I don't believe in fight. Hey, they collected my land. Hey, they collected my shoe. Hey, they collected my wife. They will continue to collect your land, your shoe, and your wife until you fix the way you think. But I do respect those who go the other route and actually fight for the people. So yes, I respect what is it called? I said Dele Farotimi. Are is like a father to me, and I did not want to be biased. That is why I called him and I spoke to him. I tried to reach out to Farotimi's people. I could not get to his people. I really don't know his people. And if they're listening and they want to furnish me with information, I'll be very glad to hear it. But from speaking to Are and from examining the books in Nigeria and from the little understanding of law with regards to defamation and criminal defamation, the courts did not go out of line with reprimanding Dele Farotimi in this case. Ask any lawyer
actually did a good job
who knows his onions. Also, when you allege, you must prove. If I say this lady is an Olosho, I must be able to prove that she's an Olosho. The onus is not on the lady to prove that she's not an Olosho. The onus is on me to prove that she is. So that's why Dele Farotimi's case is going to be quite difficult, because he has to prove and convince the justice system that what he said about Are was true.
Someone said, I'm a Canadian citizen of 7 years and I came as a student. This is not Canada. We're talking about the Nigerian.
We're talking about Nigeria. Nigeria is Nigeria. Someone said, I disagree. He was ready to prove, but he was not served properly. Like I say, it's an interesting case. Let us wait. Someone said, but dear, 500 million for bail is crazy. It's in the hand of the judge.
It's a discretion.
It's a discretion. You see, you need to understand that as long as the book says for malaria, give 2 injections and 2 slaps. If you give 1 injection and 2 slaps, you are still within the ambit of the law. If you give 1 injection and 1 slap, you are still, it is when you now add kick that is not out of place. So you need to, you see, the problem with us in Nigeria is we don't read. And social media, it can be so dangerous because you have people who are opinionated but unlettered. There are people who are opinionated and unlettered. And there are people who have strong opinions without strong knowledge. Someone said, how do you want him to prove when you went to kidnap him? As in, have you ever sat down to try to understand how the legal system in Nigeria works? Have you? Someone said he wants to come live. I'm just going to allow you to talk for 1 minute, and then when you are done, I'm going to remove you because I don't want this to turn into a loud argument back and forth and everybody shouting. Let me tell you, on social media, the person that shouts more and the person that looks like he's making sense more is the one that is making sense, not necessarily if he's backed by points.
Hi, Daddy, please.
How are you doing, brother? Go ahead, let's hear you.
It's such a huge pleasure to be talking to you for the first time. I've been your fan for 7 years.
Oh, nice one, brother. Go ahead.
I love you so much, and so I have 2 things to say.
Go ahead, brother.
One, I respect your opinion on this issue, and I expect nothing less from you. I'm sure people don't know we've been chatting privately about this issue, and you've shared your opinion with me, which I respect and I love. And it takes a lot of wisdom to deal with such situations. Opinions won't solve this problem, only facts. The fact is this: Afe Babalola is a legal sage. He's an icon in the judiciary. He has a reputation to uphold. Just to be clear to everybody, I'm on the side of Dele Farotimi on this. But I would repeat here, if Dele Farotimi doesn't have any shred of evidence as to the allegations he made towards Afe Babalola, he should go to jail. There are no emotions here. You've been to the court before, Daddy Freeze, during your last relationship. All the emotion that your ex tried to put into the case, it didn't work. When he accused you of falsely of, let me not go there. The judge, as much as the judge is biased, will deal with facts. Even in the US, we have judges that are Democrats, we have judges that are Republicans. But 99% of the time is based on the facts of the case. That is all I will say about that matter. Secondly, this is my fear. We all know the situation of Nigeria. We all know the hardship in the land. We all know the fact that, no matter how you make your money legitimately or illegitimately, the poor always sees the rich as an enemy. That being said, my worry is that I am very happy this case is happening because it is going to improve our jurisprudence going forward. My fear is the attack on free speech. That is it. Who is right, who is wrong? I'm really not. They will solve it in the court. Dele Farotimi is a senior lawyer. He's not a son, but he's well known in the judiciary. Afe Babalola too is well known. They will solve their case in court. My fear is freedom of speech. Because you know why? And I shared this with you privately, Daddy Freeze. I'm sure you can acknowledge that.
Yeah.
If this case is not properly handled, whoever is right or wrong, any one of us, especially you, Daddy Freeze, that you make your business talking about issues and teaching us truthful Bible doctrine, who fall victim to this. So I want to remind you when your messages were very strong during the early days of the Free Nation. You spoke against very powerful men. But I know that it was when you got the wisdom and the friendship of Reno Mokri. That was when you toned down your message.
It wasn't even Reno Mokri. It was actually Apostle Suleiman. Reno Mokri was one of them. Yeah, to be honest, you're right. But it was more of Suleiman.
Your message has not changed. Your message has not changed. Your message has even remained stronger. For those of us that have been following you, will know. But it took a different tone. Because I want you to imagine a situation like this. One of those top GOs that you called names those days, that was very close to one known president. Imagine if he called you out and he called his presidential point that there's one guy somewhere in Lagos looking for my trouble, please. Something needs to be done. He could, I don't know if you understand where I'm going with this. I don't want
Clearly.
You absolutely. So my speech. If free speech is going to be abolished in Nigeria, let us know. If free speech is going to be allowed, let us know. And you cannot like, I've read the book. Many of the names were mentioned, situations were mentioned, the facts were not mentioned. Facts that can be argued in court. Now, if Dele Farotimi has his evidence, he should present it in court. But at the end of the day, all this is not defamation issue. This is a power struggle between the haves and the have-nots, between the proletariat and the bourgeoisie. Those that know will know. I have a family member, a very, very close family member in the military intelligence. If they tell you, Daddy Freeze, you talk to some of these men now. If they tell you some of the things that happen, yes, now if they talk carry for us, let's go use wisdom. If you want to fight elephant or lion, that is all I will say. Secondly, thank you, Daddy Freeze, for all the messages. Thank you for all the teachings. Thank you for the truth. There's a reason why 80% of all your listeners are abroad. We need a renewal of our mind.
That's the biggest protest.
We need a renewal of our mind. Did you know that Dan McClellan, even those...
Hold on, sorry. Someone said, but he listed in the book. Listing is not evidence. I can come and list and say, Mary's and Olosho, this guy is a Yahoo boy. What hardcore fact have I proved? Even in hardcore facts, some people will still come and debunk the fact.
There was a journalist on TVC, Babajide Otitochi. Among the journalists in Nigeria, he's been the one that has faced the highest amount of libel cases before. He said someone showed him a video of a situation that he went to defend in court, that they sued him on libel for. By the time he got to court, he told the guy, come and bring the video. The other party has tried to die. The guy said, there's no video. TVC that belongs to President Tinubu paid for libel. So libel is one of the most difficult, and defamation is one of the most difficult cases to prove. Especially when the I don't want to say this without sounding, I'm a leftist. As much as I listen to Dele Farotimi, I listen to Daddy Freeze, Omoyele Sowore, I listen to Shehu Kuti. I identify with their message. At the end of the day, we all want a good Nigeria. But if you want to fight power, anybody that wants to fight power that is not willing to go to jail, they are not doing anything. It's just lip service. Dele Farotimi, I knew the consequences of what he was going to do. He's ready to face the consequences. But like my lawyer lady was asking, I want to see how this discourse is good.
You know, you are one of the people that made me even talk about it, because from the very day it happened, I spoke, and I told you I spoke to Afe.
I'm packing with this guy as I'm talking to you at the airport. He's going to Nigeria to get married. I was like, I must talk to this program.
You know, I spoke to Afe, but you see, because of the fact that Afe is someone that is very close to me, anything I say about it will look biased.
Absolutely.
So I refuse to comment on it until I thought about it properly. And I'm just glad today, because Mary probably just listened out of the blues. But there is no way, and you see, once people are agitated, there's nothing you can do. You are wrong.
They all see red.
Once they see red, they see red. That is it. Finish. That's the end. And when they see red, mob mentality, they think as one. I study sociology and a bit of psychology. Mob mentality. Once everybody say, it happened even in the Bible, Matthew 26. Crucify him. They brought a thief. They said, should we this one or this one? They said, leave the thief, this the guy. What did he do wrong? We don't know and we don't care. He's wrong. You understand what I'm telling you? And I always try not to sink into the abyss of mob mentality, because then lines get blurred.
And it's one of the lessons I've learned from you, Daddy Freeze. You try not to be emotional about issues.
I try not to be. You understand? It took me, for me to even comment on it, because you see, you are right about something. Free speech. if we go binary on free speech, there is the plus and the minus, the 1 and the 0.
Absolutely.
Yes, free speech
So
is free speech is a must for every growing nation.
Absolutely.
However, where do we draw the line? Can I really, because free speech is allowed, can I really say Mary here got pregnant for Goodluck Jonathan and aborted the baby? It's free. I'm free. I can say it, but can I really get away with it? Can I bring a fetus that is DNA matches the former presidents? Can I bring a labor? What's that thing? Do you understand? Yeah. So at what point? Because you see, once people don't like Mary, they want to hear bad things about her.
Absolutely. The same thing happening with PT. Most people don't know that PT's case is politically motivated. I've had issues with the police before.
I sat down with PT today.
I wanted to pass it to this.
I sat down with PT today.
My background check who has offense without charge. I have to get very strong references to get my new jobs. So these people saying nonsense about they don't understand. They don't understand. Sorry, go ahead, Daddy, please. I'm just very excited.
No, it's okay. I sat down with PT today for about 2 hours. And I asked him, over the while, all this while, of course, PT is my guy. When I responded to Solomon Buchi, waiting I talk, I say, the worst thing they can do is deport him. And if they deport him to Nigeria, he's not going to come and suffer. He'll probably be picked up by envoy at the airport. You understand? Is that a celebrity? So I'm like, the issue is, he's going to be all right. That I know. You understand? But I never really sat down to hear the facts. By the time I heard the facts today, those charges are ridiculous. They are just a newspaper, from my understanding, trying to sell a man bite dog story. That is what by the time PT sat down, explained this, explained that, I asked him every question. I was like, do you understand? So for you that were expecting him to come home, by the time I finished listening to the facts, I was like, I'm ready to bet 100K against your 50K that he will not be deported. So if you bring 100K, me I will bet, sorry, if you bring 50K, me I will bet 100K. If he's deported, I'll pay you 100K. If he's not deported, you pay me 50K. I'm ready to bet 100K against your 50K that he will not be deported. Meaning, I'm ready to double the amount that. Of course, now Naira, now who go carry $100,000 bet. So at the end of the day, people don't like him. There's nothing PT does. As a matter of fact, PT does not collect offering, does not collect tithe, does not collect seed. Running a church has always been a controversial affair. Even us, the reason why the Free Nation is not growing is because I'm not asking people for money. And I cannot use the money that I'm supposed to use to eat and feed my children and enjoy life to come and be building a church. Someone say PT chases clouds, Baba. There's nobody, all those your young pastors, there's nobody on social media space. I chase clouds. You don't understand that in the attention ecosystem, cloud is like crude oil. This is the attention ecosystem. Why is my life different from every other life going on now? Because I have 300 people watching. Turn to another life, you see 20 people, 30 people, 40 people, 50 people. What is this? Attention. How do I get your attention? These are the conversations we need to have conversations about. So clout can be milked and converted to revenue. I think Mary, well, you were about to say something. What were you about to say? Mary, you're about to say something.
I think she's muted. I don't think she can
Someone
hear.
said, I thought for a pastor, you're not supposed to be so. How does he get his message to his audience? Is he going to go into a bus and ring a bell?
Sorry, somebody was calling me DF. Oh wait, what was your question?
I said, what are your thoughts on what we've said so far?
I still, I mean, concerning what he has said, I sort of agree with him, and I don't know, like, I feel like people need to first of all stop comparing the two jurisdictions. That's where we need.
All right, we've got somebody here who just joined us. What are your thoughts? Instagram will be logging me out in a few minutes, so tell me what your thoughts are.
Basically, I feel what you said is actually true.
Okay.
A lot of people have to use what they feel they have to kind of generate what they want. I don't actually feel cloud chasing is actually bad, but in a sort of a good way, people can actually use that to, like, generate something for themselves, which I feel is very, very important for a lot of people. So basically, I think that's just my own humble opinion.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you very much, dear brother. Thank you so much.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, bro.
Calling me.
Can I say something, Daddy Freeze?
Go ahead.
We have a successful black man in the UK who is rehabilitating black convicts that have been neglected by the society. Do people think the politicians, the law enforcement, the correctional facilities, do they think they'll be happy with Pastor Pity? Most of the time, when we have these conversations, most people don't see the unseen hand that is at play. They don't know that there are a lot of unseen hand in our affairs in this world. With regards to Nigeria, both domestic and foreign, they would never see it. Those of us that know. Concerning the reason why I talked about, like I lived in Canada, I was a student, was I thought you were talking about like abroad or Nigerian stuff. You understand? And with regards to like your last guest, the guy that came that was a student, that guy, I wish we have time. He has made so many mistakes from the beginning that if I start to highlight it like this. You came on a 6-month program that won't guarantee you any postgraduate work permit or PR. You financed a car with a foreign license and you are complaining that your insurance and your payment is too much. You've not built credit. You are a network specialist. A network, what do you say, that is studying for 6 months. That course, you need to study it for 2 years, or you need to come as a professional from Nigeria. Now, let me ask you something. Your best friend, Simply Vic, is a psychologist, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
If you were to Japa from Nigeria today and want to practice as a psychologist in the UK, who would be the first person you would talk to? Simply Vic or Remy? Yes or no?
Yes.
Baba, how you take do Amo? How they think they do this thing? See, networking and connections even counts here 10 times more than Nigeria. Everything I've had today, everything I've achieved today, big or small, is as a result of connections. All the jobs I've had is because I have people working in those companies that they tell me, send a mail to this guy, conduct your interviews this way, do this, do that. You left the tropics of Nigeria and went to the cold tundra of Calgary alone, without connections. Where even the work you're hoping to get, people that have been there for 10 years have not gotten it, and you're hoping that, like, they told you that the streets of Canada is paved with milk and honey. I came here as a student 7 years ago. From a student, I became a worker. From a worker, I became a permanent resident. From a permanent resident, I became a citizen last year. It takes work. It takes time. It takes experience. It takes connections. And I'm not, as I am like this, I'm going to retire in Nigeria. I can't retire here. This is not my land. But anybody that tells you that, oh, they came to Canada, if you get money for Nigeria, you go sit down for Nigeria, and let's not deceive ourselves. We all came here for the pursuit of happiness, for the pursuit of a better life. But once you think that you just come to Canada, you don't have to learn. You don't have to understand the process, their way of life, the way business is conducted, the way things are done. And you just think that like you just come and you just become like an IT professional. The field where that guy works, I have 3 friends. One works for Telos Mobile, one works for Bell Mobile. They earn $300,000 a year.
What's their position?
They have certification. They have one of them is a senior cybersecurity expert. Another one is I don't know much about IT, but those that do networking with regards to VoIP, voice over internet protocol, that's where they shine. You have to do one certification with T in the US before. Like, it's not my field, but as I am today, it's because I don't have the brain for it. My friends that know me, that are listening to me, they know me. If I have the brain, my friends that are in IT, they're all doing amazingly good. And all their jobs, they got through connections, through information. So that guy needs to give himself some time. If his decision is to go back to Canada, that's a 6 months program. He should first increase it to 3 years. Then that will enable him get the postgraduate work permits. And also, the Canadian immigration is now even becoming more difficult. My sister is here with me. I am a citizen. My sister is struggling to get child just finished school. She's struggling to get her postgraduate work permit because elections are coming up next year. The sentiment against immigrants now is at an all-time low.
It's high, yeah.
But high on that, I don't know the drama. But the thing is, things are changing, you know. And also, you went to Calgary, where students find it hard to get work on a student permit. Come to BC, come and see the way students are cashing out, making 6 figures a year. Location matters. Before I came here, I have friends that were already graduating from the school I attended. As I come here like this, the only clothes I carry come. Car wait for me, house wait for me, job they wait for me.
Yeah.
So don't just go to no man's land and just expect that like the road to be paved will make money for you. He has a lot of learning to do. He has a lot of information to gather. And most importantly, too, I've done interviews before. That guy accents. Any interview where you go for. Well, let me know. I don't like stereotype you, but let me just leave it at that.
This guy, you're saying to
Can I add something to what you said?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. I'm recently in the US, but I came here last 4 months. I recently arrived in the US, and I 100% agree with what he said, because what I feel a lot of people do not understand is the power of networking. I came here because I'm currently doing my master's in information technology, and in less than 3 months, I landed an internship with Microsoft. I currently work as an intern for Microsoft, where I basically work with the back-end development of their staffs and, help integrate their IPs and kind of like connect the back end to the front end of most of their platforms. And, it has kind of like given me an idea. But aside that, the power of networking is what a lot of Nigerians find it very, very difficult to do, because they feel that when they come over, it's kind of like, everything is in a platter of gold, or they can be able to like access it very easy. But they have to take that bold step to, ask questions around, connect with people, because the reality is that most people don't know that the system is built in a way that they tend to hire people that they feel, very, very confident. You might have the idea.
They keep a lot.
Yes, you might have the skills and everything, but if you don't have the power to communicate in that space, you will find it very, very difficult to break into the system, of which that was what I learned in my few months. This is just my 4 months here in the US. So I think a lot of Nigerians have to look into that aspect of trying to build a connection, trying to meet people, because that is a very, very big barrier for our people. And I think I totally support what he says.
Absolutely.
What part of Canada are you?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Vancouver, the warmest city in Canada.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah, so I'm wearing t-shirt in winter.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, they're going to Dr. Olimaka wants to join. I've sent him a request before. Mary, can you? We will literally have 1 minute. The internet will end, and I'm not coming back again.
No problem.
Today.
All right. Bye, guys.
I'll see you in Nigeria, Mary. Let me bring him on for 1 minute or whatever time is left. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Yeah. Daddy Freeze, we are listening to your message, and please just keep doing what you're doing.
Amen.